Your life will never rise above the level of your thinking. Every result you see around you, your income, your relationships, your confidence, your habits, first existed as a thought. If your mind is chaotic, your life will be chaotic. If your mind is focused, your life will begin to align. Mastering your mind is not a motivational concept, it is a strategic advantage. The battlefield is not out there, it is within you. Most people try to change their circumstances without changing their thoughts. They want better outcomes while holding on to limiting beliefs. But beliefs are blueprints. If you believe you are average, you will unconsciously act in average ways. If you believe success is for other people, you will sabotage opportunities before they even develop. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your decisions, and your decisions determine your direction. Your mind is programmable. It has been programmed since childhood by family, environment, education, and experiences. Some of that programming empowers you. Some of it limits you. Mastery begins when you become aware of the script running in your head. Notice your automatic thoughts. Notice what you say to yourself when things go wrong. Awareness is the first act of control. You must learn to reject thoughts that weaken you. Not every thought deserves your agreement. When fear whispers, "You're not ready," you have the power to respond with preparation. When doubt says, "You can't do that," you answer with action. Mental discipline is the ability to interrupt negativity before it becomes identity. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. What you consistently feed your mind shapes your internal environment. If you constantly consume gossip, negativity, and distraction, your thinking will reflect it. If you consistently read, study, listen to wisdom, and engage in meaningful conversations, your mind sharpens. Just as the body responds to nutrition, the brain responds to information. Guard your mental diet with the same intensity you would guard your finances. Visualization is not fantasy, it is mental rehearsal. High performers in every field imagine success before it happens. When you clearly picture the outcome you desire, your brain begins to look for pathways to make it real. Clarity reduces hesitation. When your mind sees the target, your actions become more precise. A clear internal image creates focused external effort. Focus is another pillar of mental mastery. In a world full of distractions, the ability to concentrate is rare and powerful. Scattered attention produces scattered results. When you train your mind to concentrate on one task at a time, you increase productivity and reduce stress. Deep focus builds confidence because it proves to you that you can control where your energy goes. Emotional control is part of mastering your mind. Emotions are signals, not commands. You will feel fear, frustration, and uncertainty. The question is not whether emotions appear, but whether they control your behavior. When you pause before reacting, when you choose a measured response instead of an impulsive one, you strengthen your mental authority. Control over reaction creates control over direction. Self-talk is one of the most powerful forces shaping your identity. The conversations you have with yourself are constant and influential. If your inner dialogue is harsh and critical, you weaken your confidence. If your self-talk is constructive and disciplined, you build resilience. Speak to yourself like someone responsible for winning. Encourage effort. Correct mistakes. Reinforce belief. Mastering your mind requires daily practice. It is not a one-time decision, but a consistent commitment. Each morning you choose what to focus on. Each challenge you decide how to interpret. Each setback you determine whether it becomes a lesson or a label. When you control your thoughts, you control your actions. And when you control your actions, you begin shaping a life designed by intention rather than by default. Your income is a reflection of the value you bring to the marketplace, not your effort, not your intentions, not your potential value. If you want to grow financially and professionally, you must grow in skill. The world does not pay you for how hard you try. It pays you for the problems you can solve. When you increase your ability, you increase your worth. Skill is what separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs talk about ideas. Professionals execute them with precision. The more competent you become, the more confident you feel, and the more opportunities begin to open. Competence creates leverage. It allows you to walk into rooms not hoping for approval, but knowing you have something useful to offer. Many people stay stuck because they rely on motivation instead of mastery. Motivation gets you started, but skill keeps you relevant. A person with average motivation but exceptional skill will outperform a highly motivated person with no expertise. The edge comes from preparation. It comes from repetition. It comes from practicing when nobody is watching. Every skill you develop becomes an asset. Communication, sales, leadership, negotiation, marketing, problem solving, these are not just talents, they're economic engines. The more rare and refined your skill set, the more valuable you become. If you can do what few people can do at a high level, you become difficult to replace and easy to reward. Learning must become a lifestyle, not an event. Read consistently, study your field, take notes. Analyze those who are ahead of you. Instead of scrolling endlessly, spend that hour sharpening your craft. One focused hour per day equals 365 hours in a year. That level of intentional growth compounds faster than most people realize. Repetition builds excellence. You cannot think your way into mastery, you must practice your way into it. The first attempts may be awkward, the early results may be unimpressive, but skill responds to consistency. Every time you practice, neural pathways strengthen. What was once difficult becomes automatic. What once required effort becomes instinct. Feedback accelerates growth. Seek correction, not just compliments. Constructive criticism reveals blind spots that self-evaluation cannot. Instead of being defensive, be curious. Instead of protecting your ego, protect your potential. The willingness to refine separates those who plateau from those who progress. Adaptability is a high-value skill in itself. Industries shift. Technology evolves. Markets change. If you cling to outdated abilities, you limit your growth. Stay flexible. Upgrade regularly. The person who learns faster than the environment changes will always stay ahead. Skill development is not static, it is dynamic and ongoing. When you increase your skill, you also increase your negotiating power. You are no longer begging for opportunities, you are offering solutions. Employers, clients, and partners value results. If you consistently produce outcomes, your confidence rises because it is grounded in competence. That kind of confidence is quiet but undeniable. The path to higher income and greater impact is not mysterious, it is measurable. Identify one skill directly connected to the results you want. Break it into components, practice daily. Track improvement, refine weaknesses, stack abilities over time. As your skills grow, your value rises, and as your value rises, your options expand beyond what you once thought possible. Success is not built on how you feel, it is built on what you do consistently. Feelings change daily. Some mornings you wake up energized and focused. Other mornings you wake up tired and distracted. If your actions depend on your emotions, your progress will always be unstable. Discipline creates stability. It allows you to move forward even when your mood says stop. Emotion is reactive. Discipline is proactive. Emotion responds to circumstances. Discipline responds to commitments. When you choose discipline, you are deciding in advance who you will be regardless of how you feel. You are making a contract with your future self and honoring it, even when it is inconvenient. Most people wait until they feel ready. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect wave of inspiration. But readiness is often created through action, not before it. The person who trains when tired builds more strength than the person who trains only when motivated. The edge belongs to the one who shows up on the days it feels hardest. Discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you strengthen self-respect. Every broken promise weakens it. Confidence does not come from affirmations alone. It comes from evidence. When you repeatedly prove to yourself that you can execute regardless of emotion, your belief in yourself becomes unshakable. Your emotions are powerful, but they are not always accurate. Fear can exaggerate risk. Doubt can minimize ability. Frustration can distort perspective. Discipline steps in and says, act according to principle, not impulse. It reminds you that long-term results matter more than short-term comfort. Consistency is where discipline shows its true power. Small, repeated actions outperform dramatic but inconsistent bursts of effort. Waking up 1 hour earlier each day, training 4 times a week, studying 30 minutes daily. Over a year, these habits compound into transformation. Discipline turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes through repetition. Delayed gratification is a core element of discipline. It is the ability to sacrifice immediate pleasure for future reward, choosing to invest instead of overspend, choosing to prepare instead of procrastinate, choosing to practice instead of scroll. Each disciplined choice strengthens your capacity to prioritize long-term success over short-term satisfaction. Structure supports discipline. Routines reduce decision fatigue. When your day is organized around priorities, you rely less on willpower. You know when to work, when to train, when to rest. Systems create consistency. The more automated your positive habits become, the less vulnerable you are to emotional swings. Discipline also protects your goals from external distractions. There will always be invitations, interruptions, and temptations pulling at your attention. Without discipline, you drift. With discipline, you stay aligned. You become selective with your time and intentional with your energy. Focus becomes a habit rather than a struggle. Every disciplined action is a vote for the person you want to become. Each time you choose effort over excuse, focus over distraction, commitment over comfort, you strengthen your identity. Over time, discipline stops feeling like force and starts feeling like who you are. It becomes your standard, your rhythm, your foundation for sustained growth. Not every dream needs an audience. Some visions are too important to expose to careless opinions. When you share your goals too early, you invite doubt, projection, and unnecessary noise into something that is still fragile. A vision in its early stage is like a seed beneath the soil. It needs protection, not applause. It needs nurturing, not negotiation. Silence gives your ideas room to breathe. When you move quietly, you eliminate the pressure to perform for approval. You focus on progress instead of perception. Many people talk themselves out of greatness because they seek validation before they have built foundation. Protecting your vision means allowing it to grow strong before you reveal it. Criticism is loud, especially from those who do not see what you see. Some people will question your ambition because it challenges their comfort. Others will project their fears onto your plans. If you absorb every opinion, you will dilute your clarity. Silence shields your focus from external interference and keeps your energy directed toward execution. There is power in being underestimated. When people do not fully understand your plan, they do not compete with it. They do not analyze it. They do not attempt to discourage it. You gain the advantage of surprise. Quiet builders often make the strongest impact because their results arrive without warning. Speaking less about your goals increases your internal accountability. When you announce your intentions publicly, you may receive temporary satisfaction from the attention. That small hit of recognition can trick your brain into feeling accomplished before you have done the work. Silence removes that illusion. It forces you to earn confidence through action rather than applause. Focus deepens in quiet seasons. Without the distraction of explaining yourself, you have more mental bandwidth to improve. You can refine your strategy, strengthen your skills, and adjust your approach without commentary. Growth requires concentration, and concentration thrives in silence. Silence also strengthens emotional resilience. When setbacks occur, you process them privately instead of defending them publicly. You learn, adapt, and continue without broadcasting every challenge. This builds inner toughness. You become less dependent on encouragement and more committed to your mission. Timing matters. There is a season to build and a season to reveal. When your results begin to speak, explanations become unnecessary. Achievement carries authority. Instead of persuading others to believe in your dream, you allow evidence to do the convincing. Quiet preparation creates undeniable performance. Protecting your vision does not mean isolation. It means discernment. Share selectively with those who have wisdom, experience, or genuine support. Seek guidance from individuals who elevate your thinking rather than shrink it. The right counsel strengthens vision. Random commentary weakens it. When you move in silence, you develop a calm confidence. You are no longer driven by the need to be seen, but by the desire to be effective. Your energy goes into building, not broadcasting. And as your foundation strengthens beneath the surface, your progress becomes steady, focused, and internally fueled rather than externally pressured. Who you are when nobody is watching determines how far you can go when everybody is watching. Talent may open doors, but character keeps them open. Skills may create opportunity, but integrity sustains it. The world often celebrates performance, yet true strength is developed in private moments where there is no spotlight and no applause. Character is built in the unseen decisions you make daily. It's choosing honesty when lying would be easier. It's completing a task fully even when no one will check it. It's resisting shortcuts that promise quick rewards but compromise long-term stability. These quiet choices shape your identity more than public victories ever could. Reputation is what people think about you. Character is what you know about yourself. You can manage a reputation with image and strategy, but you cannot fake character for long. Pressure reveals what performance conceals. When challenges arise, you do not rise to the level of your ambition, you fall to the level of your preparation and integrity. Self-discipline is a core part of character. Doing what you said you would do when you said you would do it, even when it's inconvenient, builds internal strength. Every kept promise strengthens self-respect. Every broken promise weakens trust with yourself. Private consistency becomes public reliability. Accountability sharpens character. Instead of blaming circumstances, you accept responsibility. Instead of pointing fingers, you examine your own actions. Taking ownership gives you power because it puts change back in your hands. Excuses may protect your ego temporarily, but responsibility strengthens your foundation permanently. Humility is another quiet pillar of character. It allows you to learn without defensiveness and grow without arrogance. When you are willing to admit mistakes, you accelerate improvement. When you remain teachable, you stay adaptable. Humility does not weaken authority, it refines it. Patience shapes character in ways success never could. Waiting without complaining. Working without immediate recognition, trusting the process without constant validation. These seasons test your internal stability. Impatience chases shortcuts. Character stays committed to principles even when progress feels slow. Consistency in small actions compounds into credibility. Showing up on time, meeting deadlines, treating people with respect regardless of status. These habits seem ordinary, but they distinguish dependable individuals from unreliable ones. Over time, consistency becomes your signature. Emotional control strengthens character behind the scenes. When you manage anger, frustration, and disappointment with maturity, you demonstrate strength that others may never fully see. Reacting impulsively may feel powerful in the moment, but restraint requires greater discipline. Control over reaction creates stability in leadership and relationships. True character is revealed in private sacrifices and unseen effort. It is built through daily alignment between your values and your behavior. When your words match your actions and your principles guide your decisions, you create a solid internal structure capable of supporting lasting success and meaningful influence.